So, you want to learn how to write a great television pilot script. Me too. It's so hard though. First you have to come up with an idea that you like, one that fills you with pride and excitement and joy at the possibilities. Then you have to make 1 million decisions. And the more decisions you make, the harder the decisions will become because the new ones have to agree, have to live with, have to build upon your old decisions. And before this process is done, you will decide yourself into several corners and you realize that there's a solution to the problem in front of you, but that it goes against like 500 other decisions. And you'll need to decide whether you smash a bunch of stuff to fix one thing or to keep looking for the perfect answer to your problem, which might not even exist because this ain't the daily jumble, baby. You made these problems with your wanton acts of creativity, and there's no guarantees here. And who's making these decisions anyways? You? Baby, you're not you. Not over the long haul. You are a rotating cast of slightly different people, and each one will show up over the course of this project and weigh the in. And some of them are going to have some hard truths that you need to listen to make your script better. And some of them are just there to try and tank this thing so that they can go back to playing the horrifyingly addictive, absolutely stellar, highly recommended, 5-star looter shooter Destiny 2. And who needs to make the call? Who needs to sort the sage advice from the creative murderer's calls that are coming from inside of your head house? That falls to whatever malnourished, underslept, overworked, confused, frustrated, desperate, bored, horny, borny version of you that shows up that day. And over the course of the project, these 1,000 wolves inside of you will wrestle over your idea like it's an old goat that wandered off the ranch and rend it limb from limb until everything you thought was exciting about it just looks gross and squishy and truly, worst of all, embarrassing. And while managing all that, you also have to do things like continue to build the external and emotional stakes through the tricky second half of the second act after you've used all the momentum up from your premise. And that's hard even without all the wolves and the goats. This process is a lot. What I'm gonna do. There are a lot of really helpful videos on this website that lay out how to tackle the various stages of script writing. What I feel like I could really use though, because of the aforementioned wolves and stuff, is to see way more people's third and still f***ed up attempts at a beat sheet. Way more first drafts, way more second drafts. Anything less than perfection from Will Sharp. Come on, Will. You're hurting me. But there's no reason for Will Sharp or Michaela Cole or Jesse Armstrong to show us their dirty beginnings. They make the magic, and a great magician never reveals their secrets. But I'm not a magician, I'm a clown. So I'm going to go from nothing to at least a first draft of a pilot script, documenting to the best of my meager abilities the development of the premise, characters, setting, themes, logline, controlling ideas, story engine, tone, the beats of the A, B, and C storylines, basically everything on this little worksheet I made. To be completely forthright, I have a couple of scripts that I'm really proud of, but the bulk of my qualifications to call myself a writer are a couple of minor industry pats in the head and the pain in my voice. I don't know how this will go. Making this video right here took me 3 weeks, but clowns are supposed to fall down, so let's f***ing go! Public access TV writing. So, I don't know what you're up to, but I'm writing a cartoon sitcom pilot. Sitcoms need to go on for almost ever with relatively minor character development. If you're writing a drama, then you need to move the characters forwards, but slowly, or maybe they're always trying to discover some kind of secret about an island or something. It depends. And if you're writing a movie, then your main character is probably going to become a whole different person in like a very fundamental and important way in about an hour and a half. Well, in the 90s. My premise is silly. My premise is that after toiling away for years, completely obsessed, this nobody genius I'm calling Doug achieves his goal of creating artificial intelligence, and he makes this cute little robot with emotions and feelings. But nobody important believes that his robot is actually alive, so nothing changes. So the show is Doug, stuck so close to fulfilling his massive ego's dream of being lauded by the entire world as a real smart, important guy. And meanwhile, his girlfriend Min is sick of his constant singular focus and the stagnation of their lives. And she's got her own stuff going on that we'll get into later. And they have this little plucky sweetie pie robot who just wants to learn and experience the beautiful world he's been brought into. But Doug, ironically, treats him like a means to an end instead of the autonomous entity that he literally created him to be, aka classic bad dad. And Min resents the robot, which I'm calling A1 right now, because he represents Doug's never-ending futile quest. And they're a little messed up family unit, and each episode they come together and they break apart and they have jobs and they have supporting characters and yeah. So that's it. It's not a logline, it's a very wordy premise. It's what I'm operating from right now. Here are two things that I'll say about premises. If you don't have a premise, but you want one, the best exercise I've ever been shown to get one is to write down what would happen if, and then complete the sentence with whatever. Truly just, what would happen if bricks were made of cheese? Great, now do it again. Do it 100 times. I recommend doing it with a pen in a notebook. In my experience, if you do it 100 times, there will be some ideas in there that interest you. One of the traps I have fallen into the most is getting well into projects only to realize that my main character doesn't have a clear want. And this is like page 5 of every book you read about screenwriting. Your protagonist needs a specific want. This is ostensibly basic stuff, and yet, left to my own devices, I apparently love nothing more than coming up with ideas centered around the most passive, lost protagonists who are just trying to figure it out. You can have a protagonist who is lost, but I really encourage you to also give them a specific, tangible want, like a promotion or a date with a hot sanitation worker or whatever. It will make your life better. And if someone in the future with the ability to travel to the past is watching this video, please go back in time and give me this advice in 2015. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's smash these two ideas together. If I had used the what would happen if exercise to come up with my premise, I might have written down what would happen if someone created artificial intelligence, but no one believed in him or cared. If the inventor desperately wanted to be recognized for creating a miracle, that's one show. That's what I'm trying to do. If he wanted to safeguard his new non-human person against a callous world, that would be a whole different show. So start thinking about what your protagonist, what your characters want early, because it's really important. Okay, so literally in the spirit of what this is supposed to be, I'm going to talk about my characters. Doug. Doug works at a technical college teaching introductory courses on machine learning for a 2-year degree he considers worthless. He is very bored, and in his boredom sometimes inspires him to deviate from the curriculum, which can draw the attention of his extremely by-the-book college dean. At home, Doug lives with his wife Min and A1 in a small apartment. He cares about Min, but often takes her for granted in his perpetual quest for recognition and fame. What really interests me about the character is the trap that Doug has fallen in, where he did the thing, right? He achieved his objective, and he thought that what he wanted, fame, accolades, broad societal recognition that he is a very smart, cool boy, would follow automatically after he made A1. But it turns out there's this next step, and as smart as he is, he never imagined that he would have to convince people that what he'd done was important, or that he would have to contend with the massive desires of other far more powerful entities. Plus, he's an asshole, so he's not equipped for this next sort of soft skills portion of his quest. But he can't give up because he did the thing that he set out and spent so much time to do, and he needs the recognition. He's so close to the thing, but also maybe he is in fact so far from the thing. If you're wondering why it's so impossible to get recognition for A1, if A1 is in fact the real deal, I will get more into that when we talk about tone and setting and rules of the world, but the short answer is because this is a silly cartoon. Pause if you want to see some more initial notes on Doug. A lot of them are wrong now. Documenting this process is hard.
Okay, back to characters. Next up is Min. Min is Doug's wife. She teaches culinary arts at the same technical college. The thing I find most interesting about Min is that she's pulled in two different directions. She was a revered chef in the city who worked hard and played harder. She wanted to move forward into a new phase of her life and start a family, and so started teaching for the stability, but sometimes her old wild life and the people from it come calling, and it's hard for Min to say no, baby. Sometimes she wonders if she made a mistake by giving up something she was so good at, especially when this new phase isn't exactly going as she imagined. And it goes without saying that sometimes she wonders if she should just ditch Doug. Pause here to read more initial thoughts on Min. A1. A1 is going to take a lot of shit. But at the end of the day, the little guy is never going to give up being grateful for everything around him. You know how everything is a miracle? And you're a miracle surrounded by other miracles, and because it's all you know and you're drowning in miracles, you're really bored of it, and you're like, there's nothing good on Netflix anymore. A1 never forgets. A1 always appreciates. And I like that as a position, both to annoy the shit out of everyone, because that sort of thing is annoying as hell, and to occasionally break through and let people see life from his perspective. Also, I think if A1 plugs into the internet, he temporarily becomes Quaalude, a kind of egomaniacal alter ego powered by humanity's lust for relevance on the internet. If you've seen Gremlins, it's like that. Pause to read more initial thoughts on A1. Okay, keep it moving, supporting characters and their functions, aka why I think they exist right now. Jean. Jean is the dean. Jean is Doug and Min's boss. She's a hard ass who doesn't talk to you unless it's to tell you she's unhappy about something. She exists to complicate Doug and Min's life and to be an outside force that they have to be accountable to, and neither one of them like this, so she gives them something to agree on. Prakash. Prakash is the star professor of the college's crown jewel, the dental hygienists program. Outwardly, he's everything Doug is not, and he has a crush on Min. He exists to tempt Min and to be a nemesis for Doug, both because of Min, but also because Prakash gets the kind of recognition on the campus that Doug wants. Wainwright. Wainwright teaches a very poorly attended legacy auto repair program at the technical college. Doug uses the shop to work on A1, and Wainwright is the only person patient enough to become anything approaching a friend to Doug. He exists to offer Doug alternative perspectives, whether Doug takes it or not. Sunny. Sunny teaches culinary arts as well, but she's never actually worked in a kitchen. She just went to the school and then got a job there. She idolizes Min for her skill and the wild life she has led. On the outside, at least, she has what seems to Min like an ideal family. She exists to make Min jealous and to annoy the crap out of her. Sudi. Sudi is a little boy who lives in the building. He's A1's best friend. Right now, he just exists to be cute with A1, but I haven't given him enough thought yet. Also, I've realized that I have two S names, Sudi and Sunny, so I need to change one. Why do I talk like that? What a weird way to say words. Okay, re-characters. A smart friend once told me about the idea of the dinner test for characters. Basically, your characters should relate to each other in such a way that you could write an episode that's just a dinner, and it would be interesting. This means that their different natures produce conflicts when they're put together without a whole lot of extra stuff needing to be injected. I don't know if I'm there yet, but that's one of the things that I'm thinking about as I build these people out of my mind mud. Okay, that's enough, I think. To close, here are some things that I thought about while I was writing and filming this. 1. Do I need a semi-regular character who is the physical embodiment of a powerful company or what have you that would give Doug the thumbs up, A1 the gold star of being a real boy who could deliver Doug what he wants if only Doug would play ball? Maybe this person and Doug already have a relationship. Maybe this person knows A1 is the real deal, but they want Doug to give up the rights or something. I'm picturing like a stereotypical smarmy businessman type who drops in to Doug's classroom to make the same pitch he has before, and Doug turns him down like he always does. I don't know. Maybe. 2, where is the bulk of the story taking place? Right now, I really focused on their workplace, which is fine for a setting. It brings people together. But the nature of Doug's want is that it's going to take him wherever he needs to go. Conferences, offices, labs, mayoral debates, cosplay competitions, etc. So am I focusing on work too much? Should these characters be more scattered throughout the city, or maybe more centered around their apartment building as a home base? I don't know yet. A lot of things will probably change. And 3, is this working? Is it possible for me to document my own process in any coherent way? Was this a mistake? Should I go to dental hygienist school? Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh.
So that was episode 1. It's pretty uneven. I filmed the start and this ending here way after the middle part. You can tell I'm searching for a tone here. Listen, I'm just one more man on the internet named Kyle, but I'm so impressed by anyone who's compelled to make something and keeps pushing through the infinite setbacks and self-criticism. So if you feel like creating something from nothing brings life to your life, then keep it the f*** up. I love you. See you next time.